Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this. I much appreciate it. I was so close to getting my players today. Oh, so close. Oh, but they just had to roll a nat 20. Oh my god, Adam. I had two of them down. One was at 10 HP. My dragon was looming over one of their corpses. Ah! Whatever, we'll get him next time. Anyway, the build we are running today is the Brunt Sprasher Mach 3 Bully Club with Confident Strike and Thrust. We got the Gorgrim Twin Length Heavy Subwoofer Charm Reload and Overwhelming Fire. We got Furious Smash 'em, Heavyweight, Best Defense, Rock, Slam, Indomitable with Stomping Boots and Pulverize. Going down to Hard Knocks with Stay Close, Towering Presence, Get Stuck In, Attention Seeker, Payback Time, Bruiser, No Pushover, Won't Give In, Feel No Pain with all three of the nodes, because it's just too good. Anyway, that's enough yapping for me. Let's get into a game, shall we? So, my players were fighting a dragon today. Right? It wasn't like a fully strength dragon. It was a slightly modified dragon, but it was designed to be a very lethal fight. I should have gave the dragon more HP, but you know, I figured that 130 HP would be okay. But I didn't realize how much damage my warlock was actually doing. Since they just hit level 5. So they all got their second attack, and obviously, well, the Warlock doesn't get second attack, but they get that second Eldritch Blast per, which is a lot of damage, especially because they have a +5 to Charisma, it's like, ooh. And my Ranger's item is kind of crazy, and obviously the Dragon was a part machine, so it was the Ranger's favorite enemy, right, so it gets a bonus to that. My Artificer, he kind of had a rough one, he kind of got insta-downed. Which is a bit rough, but luckily he had his Homunculus to give him a little. His Homunculus can cast spells now since it's level 5, so he's able to get himself a nice little cure wounds to bring him back up. Yeah, so. They met one of the big bad guys, and they had a discussion. Essentially, the big bad guys gave them an ultimatum. If they were to hand over Thrasher, their beloved NPC friend, they could go off and live to their normal, boring life. Or, if they don't, then it would become their problem. And obviously, they didn't, thankfully. And they didn't fight one of the BBEGs. They fought BBEGs, just sort of, he left. But he had essentially dropped a dragon on them. Like, here, take, oh well, you had one chance and you biffed it, and he released his dragon on them. Sorry, one second, I had to kill that. But during that interaction, my Artificer asked if he could sneak a DM, a message, to this robot that they had found in a previous session. Thank you, Mr. Mutant. And I was like, yeah, sure. Just roll a luck check, and then, anything above a 10 and he'll be on his way. He rolled a nat 20. And me as a DM who will always honor a nat 20, even if it's on the luck check. The bot was running at 70 miles an hour to reach their location. And at the start of combat, when the dragon appeared, I had him roll initiative for the robot, then roll a d4 to essentially how many turns until the robot arrived. Their good friend Sir Daniel, the robot. And the d4 was obviously for how many turns it would arrive. And if they didn't, even if he had rolled like a 19, I would have made him roll a d6. If he rolled like a 10 to 15, I would have made him roll a d8. Anything underneath that, the robot would have. But he rolled a nat 20. And then what he rolled on the d4 was 1. So, yeah, that was bad. So the first turn, the dragon one-taps my Artificer because he gets 2 claw attacks at And one of them was a crit, unfortunately. So unfortunately my Artificer got one tapped, but luckily there was a little rat there to help him. My Warlock was hiding behind a truck that was on the verge of exploding and almost exploded, but luckily the truck passed its dexterity attack. Passed a dexterity saving throw. I know, a truck passing a dex save, but you know. Oh my god. I'm just gonna drop down. Where was I? Right. So the robot's on its way. Artificer gets knocked down. The little homunculus brings him back up. Warlock is hiding behind cover, and then on the other side of the arena, my Ranger is doing his thing. Well, the Ranger came to Dragon Fear, so he failed it twice. So he was not doing great. He failed the initial one, then he failed the one on his turn. So it wasn't looking too great, right? Artificer was low HP. Warlock was good. Warlock was actually doing a lot of damage. My Warlock did 2 nat 20s on its Eldritch Blasts, and it's a lot of damage. But on the robot's turn, on the next turn, the robot arrives. He cracked through the wall, and you know, this robot swoops in like a hero. As a DM, am I going to let this robot do nothing? Absolutely not. Robot breaks through the wall, beats the dragon in a contested strength check, because this is a big fucking robot. It's like 10 feet tall. It's a large construct. It's probably about the size of like a little smaller than a plague ogre. Or maybe it's actually probably around the size of a chaos spawner or an ogre. That's probably like a good thing. This thing like swoops around, grabs the dragon around the neck, and slams it down WWE style to beat it in a contested strength check and grapple it. My Ranger, not only is it a Ranger passes their fear check, right? So everything's all good. They get advantage on the dragon because it's obviously grappled, right? And it's their favorite enemy, so they get the bonuses to do that as well. And, you know, they have a pretty good homebrewed weapon that kind of gave them their Artificer upgraded. So essentially they can add their proficiency bonus, which is +3 now, to their damage and their attack modifier on top of their dexterity mod. So they're adding like +7, right, to damage and hit. It's kind of good. What is it? It's like +7, +6 or something. It's good. All you have to know is that it's good. So he does quite a bit of damage, right? And he attacks twice. He's level 5. He does a good amount of damage to the dragon. The Warlock, nat 20, does a lot of damage. And the Ranger, I essentially, the Artificer did a look, got a really high investigation check. Or like intelligence check against the dragon, so he was able to identify a weak spot. The weak spot, essentially, if you were aiming for it, it would be disadvantage. But you would still be able to aim for it, and you would be able to do more damage, right, to the dragon. But obviously, with it being grappled and it being a favorite enemy, my Ranger rolls it flat, so he was hitting it pretty solidly. And it would add an extra d6 of the damage, so a free d6. Which, you know, adds up. Out of 130 HP right in the first turn, like after the first round, the dragon was like down to a little more than half. But things start to turn in the dragon's favor as it beats the robot in the contested strength. Or actually, it doesn't even beat it in the first one. It doesn't even like make the end, like the doesn't try to break it out first, because it uses its breath weapon, where my Artificer, his Steel Defender, and the Ranger are within the line of fire. They take 35 damage Artificer down. His Homunculus destroyed. So he can't heal him. Steel Defender down. Once again, Sir Daniel, the robot, passes his check with flying colors. Does just fine. He takes half damage still, but, you know, he's got quite a bit of HP. And I actually made a stat sheet for him this time instead of just using... Since he's, like, kind of become an NPC sort of accidentally, so I made him a stat sheet, so he's a little bit better than an automated stove, or an animated stove. But nonetheless... you know, and he's holding on to the dragon, but dragon beats the strength check, slashes at my, you know, ranger, downs him. Check the recharge at the end of his turn, he gets the fire breath back immediately. Which is quite scary. You know, my ranger's down. Next dragon turn around. Artificer's still down making death saves. Ranger gets down the next turn. After the dragon uses its breath attack on my warlock for 33 HP, leaving him down to 10. Which is pretty bad. However, it could have been a lot worse had the truck that he was hiding behind exploded. But because the truck made its saving throw, the dragon did not pass the damage threshold of 20, causing the truck to explode. And if the truck were to explode, be it on the dragon or against my players, it would have done 20 d4 damage, which is a lot of damage. So that would have been real bad. I put that truck there because I was like, oh, the freaking, my players will just bait the dragon over, cause it to explode. That's all they gotta do, easy peasy, right? Like, I have an artificer, you know, he can shoot the gas tank, right? I'd give him advantage on making the damage threshold, right? But the truck never came into play because Sir Daniel busted through the wall and was doing hella damage. Now let me tell you something. Sir Daniel does 2d8 plus 2 damage plus 11. And he adds a plus 6 to his hit. So, my guy was swinging hard. Let's just say that. And Sir Daniel was actually the one to kill the dragon. And actually, I almost full killed my ranger, but I had made a roll to see, like, would the... It's been given a primary objective, right? But also, would the dragon acknowledge the threat that was currently right in its face, which was Sir Daniel? I rolled a nat 1 on my, essentially, luck check to go after my ranger. So, the dragon tried to go after Sir Daniel. Did not put Sir Daniel down, because Sir Daniel's goated with the sauce. And then on the next turn, with 19 HP left, Sir Daniel hits him and does 20 damage on the roll. And I described it as this. The dragon, looming above your unconscious body, Spencer. So, sorry, Spencer's my name of the ranger. Looming above your unconscious body. It moves to take a bite at you, to finish you off. But then a fist grabs the bottom of the dragon's mouth and forces it closed, gripping it like a dog that's not supposed to chew on anything. Oh. You hear the sound of bending metal and crunching bones. Sir Daniel's fist closes around this dragon's mouth, and with a might, he pulls his fist back and plunges it directly into the weak spot of the dragon on the front of its chest, and rips out the power core that was powering this machine, this beast made of machine and flesh. And the dragon falls with a thump. And that was the end of the combat. Oh, I've never been more fucked by Nat 20 in my life. Now you may be saying, why do you want to kill your players? I don't want to kill my players. If my players die, I have plans for it. I've got mystical plans for it, you know. I've got plans within plans within plans. And, like, it's also funny because they're going to get some cool items when they die, you know, because I've got that mystical shit going on, you know. I've not been paying attention. Yeah. So they met with the BBEG. They killed a dragon. They leveled up because, of course, I'm gonna have them level up after killing a dragon. Hello. And it was funny because I had them make checks in the warehouse that they were in to find any extra info they could, or just make a check on the dragon to see if what was the vibe. And my ranger, who has always sort of been an outcast in this city, being a very much like it sort of a not one that sort of goes with the grain of the city, right? He rolled a nat 20. He asked me. I was so excited when he asked me this. He said, "Would nature be a stupid check?" And I said, "No, my son. No, my son, it would not." And he rolled a nat 20 on this nature check. And it was so beautiful. Once again, a lot of nat 20s this session. Kind of fucking me over. And before anyone says anything, yes, I do see them roll the dice. It's okay. I see them hit the nat 20s. Everything's okay. And I'm glad. I'm glad they're fucking my shit. Frankly, I'm an asshole. And it was a very wonderful little scene of sort of a bonding moment between two sort of scales of a lizard, of two creatures that are not meant for this city. You look into the dragon's eyes as this core, this metallic core powering its life, is ripped out, and you hear the fading of its breath, of whatever organic pieces remain. And you look into its eyes, and you see a faint gratefulness as its suffering is put to an end. Ouch. Stop. And it was a very, very bonding episode, and a bonding moment. I said, it's sort of on that nat 20 as you look into the dragon's eyes. I think you sort of have a moment to look upon yourself. You've never been one for this city. You were raised here, but you've never felt like you belonged. You're not like the artificer or the warlock. You are not of this city. And as you sort of see living proof of a city that cares not what it consumes for its whatever purposes it has, you just sort of acknowledge that you've always been different. And yeah, I've got plans for that guy's backstory. Come on, he's playing a ranger in a city made of artificers. Come on, I gotta make him a tree hugger. Obviously, I don't make him a tree hugger, but we've established this in the session 0 that the ranger's character never felt like they really belonged in the city. Hello. Hello, Genesis. I sort of plow right through you, yes. Stop. It was very, very good. And they got a name. They got a name of another one of the big bad evil guys. Essentially confirming their suspicions. It's not revealing any new information that they weren't already assuming, but it has confirmed their suspicions. And also, my artificer, his grandfather's gone missing. Missing as in disappeared. Not that the character knows that. But his grandfather's company, which is currently was currently owned by a good friend, by the grandfather's best friend and coworker, Hariel, whatever his last name was. I really ought to. I got actually by one of my players because I said the last name wrong. It's like, you've been taking notes this whole time? I didn't even write the last name in my notes. I'm pretty sure I just wung it. So I gotta remember what Hariel's last name is before I get actually. So I don't know if I ever gave Hariel last name. Maybe I did. Probably like Lightsmarrow or some shit. Some elf shit. Also, there was a funny sort of exchange where I was trying to be menacing as Tobias Brightshield, which is the BBG, who's essentially just evil Superman, thinking about it. But nonetheless, I was like, so that elf girl of yours, she's quite the bona fide cleric. She's a bona fide cleric, ain't she? And it was so funny. My warlock was a -5 intelligence. Like, what bona fide mean? And then my artificer was like, what elf? I only know one elf. And then the ranger was like, dude, Thrasher's an elf. I was like, what? I thought she was a tiefling. It was a bit of a funny miscommunication in roleplay and in real life going on there. It was fun. Can't wait till next time. I need to make an encounter for next time. But I don't know what. I'll figure it out, I suppose. Or at least make a couple optional encounters. I don't know. The issue is I'm at a point now where I'm like in the sort of campaign that's kind of a little quick. Essentially, I need to find a way to kind of either slow it down or just full pedal to the metal, you know? So I gotta make an encounter that's actually, maybe I have ideas. I've got ideas and plans and ideas. But if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I am not your mother. But you better brush your teeth. Now have a good one. Bye-bye.